Eric Dyer is lucky to have got a recent call-up in the England squad. He's gone years without a call-up, and he might end up in the squad.
He's got to go to the World Cup.
He should. In my eyes, it's a questionable thing because we've got a lot of better players than him. I think Maguire's ahead of him.
We are going to move on to that now, in fact, and let's talk about our England squad. Does Eric Dyer make the squad? That's the real question. But let's go into it. We're going to do our 26-man squad. I think it's in 3 days' time or 2 days' time or whenever you're watching
Before the
this.
next episode is recorded, basically.
It's on the 10th of November that Gareth Southgate names his World Cup squad. So I think it's about time that we make ours. Let's set up a general rule. We're just doing our 26-man squad. Obviously, we have to keep realistic. We're not going to pick Ben Chilwell because he's not going to go.
Yeah.
You know, he's injured and stuff. So yeah, let's just go into it. Are we saying let's start with goalkeepers and three goalkeepers?
Three goalkeepers.
Three goalkeepers.
Absolutely.
I assume we're all in agreement with this one.
Let's all say one.
Right. 3, 2, 1. All say your starting goalkeeper.
Right.
Who's first on the list? Not all doing our starting 11.
You say one. We know it's three.
I'll say the starting goalkeeper, in my opinion, John Pickford.
Yeah, mine's Pickford too.
Pickford.
Yeah. Pickford.
Then naturally.
Okay, to be quick, let's be honest. The other two, we know who the other two are. It's Aaron Ramsdale and Nick Pope.
100%.
Dean
Dean
Henderson's having a good season, but Pope has been unreal this season, and he's had recent call-ups.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be dropped.
Yeah, Dean Henderson might be a little bit unlucky, but yeah, he's not going to make it out into the squad.
Who's ahead of Nick Pope though? I mean, who's below Pickford? Is Ramsdale ahead of Pope?
Ramsdale.
I agree. Only because Nick Pope kind of
Nick Pope doesn't fit the way we play.
In the last international break, his weaknesses were kind of fully on display.
Well, he made a massive mistake against Germany that cost us a win.
His distribution isn't on par with Ramsdale. Yeah, for me, Ramsdale's second.
So they are our goalkeepers, nice and easy. Let's move on to the defence.
Left back.
Left backs. This is a tight one because we're lacking in numbers in left back. So let's just get the main one out of the way. The starting left back will probably be Luke Shaw.
It's kind of inevitable.
But then and then after Luke Shaw, because we're all in agreement with Luke Shaw, is it Trippier? Because Trippier played left wing back in the Euros and he was great. He was brilliant.
I'll be honest. I think Trippier starts in another position.
Well, let's discuss the fullbacks now because the right backs and left backs.
Yeah,
I think we have to interchange them basically.
Exactly.
So Trippier gets in the squad.
Trippier in at right backs. That's 5 men now.
Trippier certainly gets in the squad. He's had an unreal season so far. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does start. To be perfectly honest,
I'd like Trippier to start. I think he's brilliant, and I don't know because at Spurs I didn't realise he was this talented. But fair play to him. He's won the La Liga. He's revitalised Newcastle, and
he's playing out of his skin. And he's one of the best FPL picks I've ever made in my life.
Absolutely. Any other left back picks?
Genuinely,
like a solid left back because we've got.
Genuinely,
you struggle to think
to
the point where I feel like this may happen. I feel like knowing Southgate, he may call up Tyrone Mings as a left back.
To be honest, I
think it's
think
going to be a wing back, isn't it?
I think Tyrone Mings is a shout, but I also think knowing Gareth Southgate.
No, hear me out. Matt Targett.
No, but knowing Gareth Southgate, he'll call up a certain player in an attacking sense, but play him in a defensive sense, and that's Bukayo Saka. I can see it happening.
Yeah, Saka. As much as I think he needs to be in the England squad, I don't think he gets in the front three.
I think he 100% does. I think he starts easily for England.
We'll get onto that. We'll get onto
easily.
that. We'll get onto that.
Easily starts for England.
Let's talk more about right backs. Do we bring Trent? Because I think Trent has to go.
I mean, with the lack of numbers,
I don't think.
I think with the lack of numbers, I think it's inevitable he comes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Walker injured? What's going on with Walker?
Walker's injured. Stone's injured.
Is he out?
James.
Is Kyle Walker out?
I think Kyle Walker is out.
I mean, that's even worse for the England squad if Kyle Walker's out, because Kyle Walker is a very all-round player. But yeah, I think Trent, although he's had a bad season and a poor start to the season or whatever, I think he naturally gets in. But is Kyle Walker fully out?
Yeah,
he's fully out.
Walker and Reece James are out of the World Cup. So I think it's inevitable that Trent goes.
Yeah.
Another name, which I think is also injured, I'm not 100% sure on, is Kyle Walker-Peters. I think he might.
What about Ben White? Is he a right back? Is he a centre back? What's going on?
I think he'll come up as a right back.
I think
a wing back. But Gareth Southgate is playing with wing backs. We've got to take
He's
that
not
into
always
consideration.
playing with wing backs. He interchanges them sometimes.
Yeah, but ultimately you need someone who's bombing up and down that touchline for his system.
Ben White can do that.
Defenders in general, Ben White will make the squad,
Ben
I
White
think.
has. With the amount of injuries we have, if Ben White doesn't make the squad, I think it exposes Gareth Southgate as lacking football knowledge. Because Ben White, I'll be honest, is I think England's most technically gifted defender. 100%.
I would also agree that on par with Kyle Walker.
I think on par with John Stones, I think.
And actually, when Trent's on his A game, I think Trent's up there as well.
I don't think he's a defender.
Yeah, defensively.
But he can't defend.
Fair
I will never call him a defender. He's a midfielder playing right back.
Let's go into some centre-backs because I think we can rack off a few more. Harry Maguire,
Yeah.
whether he gets in or not is a bit questionable, but I think he does.
I think we have to say it's inevitable he'll get in.
Why? It's our squad, let's pick. Why is he going in our team, in our squad?
Okay, let's say there's 5.
If we're saying it's our squad, then Harry Maguire doesn't get anywhere near
Okay,
it.
let's say 5 centre-backs, right? 5 4, 5, whatever. Okay, let's rattle off some names. So John Stones is injured, right?
Yeah.
He can't make it.
Okay.
However, you put Ben White in already. If not, he's going at centre-back. Yeah, you've got him in. He's at centre-half.
Another name.
Joe Gomez?
Someone that I have really rated for a long time. Tomori.
Yeah, Tomori goes for me.
Tomori 100% goes.
100%.
Mark Gahey. Does he make it in?
Interesting.
He's on the. We'll put him down, but he's on. If someone
he
has
has
to get
made
cut,
some squads.
Yeah, if someone needs to get cut, I think
He's in.
One
there for
name who I
discussion.
think goes in, I think he's having a good season with his new club. I go Connor Cody because I think whether he plays or not, he's valuable to the team and to the morale and everything. And there's another name with Everton who could get called up, given the injuries and stuff, which is Tarkowski, but I'm not 100% if whether he gets called up.
I wouldn't put him down straight away.
Just to paint a picture right now, right? We've got 4 centre backs that we've gone with: Ben White, Tomori, Mark Guehi, and Connor Cody. I think we need 5. I think that's a good
because we
number.
play a back 3 sometimes, you need 5 just to have that backup kind of thing.
Here's a bit of a rogue shout, and I don't think we're going to go with him. But someone that's having a good season outside of England, Chris Smalling's actually having a very good season.
I think we've treated Chris Smalling incredibly harshly.
Yeah.
Ever since he's left Man United, he's done incredibly well,
Yeah.
and he's not seen a single England cap since.
He has shown weaknesses for Roma. In
of
recent
course.
times. And the Roma fans love him. There's a reason why they're calling him, what is it, Smaldini?
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I mean, it's a rogue shout.
One name.
I think Guehi is probably ahead of him.
Okay, if we're not
But I
going to say
also
that,
think Tyrone Mings is ahead of him.
I think there's one name which I think in my England team would get called up. Similar reasons for Ben White. Versatile. He's played at left back. He's played at centre back. Dan Burn.
I like that shout.
Yeah,
I do
same.
love that shout. But
Dan Burn is quality.
I also don't know why I haven't spoken about Joe Gomez yet.
I think Joe Gomez has
think he
shown
can.
some. He's had against
He has shown
Manchester
weaknesses,
City.
yeah.
He had a great game, but I think aside from that game, he's been having a poor season.
I just don't know if Dan Burn's ready for that kind of quality.
I
just
think
don't know.
I think he's having a much better season than Joe Gomez, and I think it would be unfair to pick Joe Gomez on stature and then not pick Maguire because you favoured the big club there and you don't favour the big club there.
You're right.
We should be consistent, pick on form. Dan Burn's having a great
I'm
season.
going Dan Burn.
I like that pick. I like it.
Right, so let me remind you of the defence so far. We've got Luke Shaw at left back. He's our only dead on left back. Dan Burn can go there, but I'm not too confident about that. Ben White, Tomori, Mark Guehi, Connor Cody and Dan Burn are all making up the centre-halves, and then Trippier and Trent are the right-backs. That makes a total of 8 defenders and brings a total to 11 out of the 26 man squad. I think let's keep that as a defence so far.
Yeah, let's move on to the midfield. Let's get some certain names in there. Declan Rice, 100% goes.
There's not a conversation. He's on the plane.
I'm writing it before it's even said.
I
Bellingham.
think due to the injuries and everything.
Jude Bellingham
Is he injured?
gets... No,
I think is Henderson fit?
Hang on, Jude Bellingham.
I have no idea, but let's get the main ones out of the way.
Is Bellingham
Jude
injured?
Bellingham. Yeah, Jude Bellingham has to
Bellingham's
make the
fit.
squad. He has to make the squad.
Bellingham's fit.
There's no way. He starts as well.
Jude Bellingham starts. We'll get on to starting, but he starts.
Jude Bellingham's starts. He's on the plane. He's been on the plane for about a year.
Moving on, more attacking players. Do we take Phil Foden as a midfielder or an attacker?
Attacker.
I think attacker.
Okay,
We don't really play with number 10.
So then we'll go Mason Mount.
Mason
midfield.
Mount is more of a midfielder in the England setup.
Mason Mount definitely gets in for me as well. I
100%.
think whether or not he's having an amazing season.
I think
he's been-
there's players ahead of Mason Mount in the ascendancy, and I'd like to mention one. James Maddison.
James Maddison, you've hit the nail on the head there. You've been
Maddison.
calling for his England call up for a while now.
I think there's maybe 2 more names that you could suggest. Maybe an extra DM, maybe an extra centre mid.
How's Calvin Phillips doing? Is he dead?
I think he's complete. He's barely played this season as well, so I wouldn't pick him.
I wouldn't pick him.
It's frustrating. Jordan Henderson, what about him?
I think Henderson.
He's fit. I think he is fit.
If he's fit, I think he does go.
And for experience reasons, I think I think Jordan Henderson gets in for similar reasons that Connor Cody gets in, because it's sort of an experienced leader type character.
He's won trophies, you know. He's going to lead the side. I think he's important.
I think Henderson gets
Another
in.
name is like James Ward-Prowse, but I don't think he's having
Let's put him on the list.
as amazing a season. But like, you can put like an asterisk on him, and we can drop him out for like a bonus pick at the end.
Yeah, similar to Mark Guehi, I think. James
Similar to Mark Guehi.
I think generally that's most of the midfield.
I think
complete.
Is it a short midfield? We've got 6 midfielders, which brings our total to 17 players overall.
9 players left with the attack.
Hang on, let me count. Yeah, we've got 17 overall, excluding Phil Foden. So let's add Phil Foden in, he's going, so that's 18.
18.
We've got 7 more players left.
Yeah,
that's very good.
For the attack, and then probably some wildcard picks.
Okay.
Sterling?
Sterling, 100%.
Yes.
Sterling a left winger or right winger?
He gogoes in on the left. He's played predominantly on the left for England. I think
Sterling, Foden, Kane.
Kane has to go.
100%.
Kane has to go.
Obviously.
Saka has to go.
Yes, 100%.
I think we need more players playing on the right. Now, you want Rashford to go, but he doesn't really play on the right.
Yeah, I want to put a name out there, and that is Rashford. And I think Rashford will make the squad.
So do I think he should.
He's had a fantastic start to the season. I mean, some games he's been a bit, like his finishing's been a little bit questionable, but he definitely makes the squad. And I was going to make another bit of a rogue shout and say Sancho as well, but I think that would literally just be to add numbers.
Yeah, and he's not having a great season, but with Rashford, I think he offers us something different from the wide spaces.
Yeah, as well, he can play wide, but if we need to bring him on up front as well, he will do a job.
I think, but here's the thing, I agree with the whole versatility aspect, I do, but I think there's better strikers than him, and that's why I think we need to call up some other players, and I'd call up Ivan Toney for me, despite what's gone on in the press this week, which is absolutely appalling. It's like the press.
What's happened there? I'm not aware.
The press have broken a story, which is a very old story, that he's being inspected for gambling on football, and it's a story from like way back when he wasn't even at Brentford, and they've brought it back, and the FA are investigating it. And it's just like, it's typical press behaviour before a World Cup. Yeah. Like, it's awful.
Let's just go on merit as well and talk about the strikers. He is next in line. There's not really anyone else.
No, he's phenomenal. I think Ivan Toney is such... I've said it since last season, he's such an underrated striker, and this season people are seeing it.
There's another name that I think... There's 2 names in my head that we haven't even spoken about. Jack Grealish. What happens to him? He was such a big part of the Euros. Does he get in the side? I think Southgate will take him. I really do.
Southgate will take him.
Because Southgate is a man who has these fond memories of players in his head and go and picks based on that.
I mean, the thing is, Jack Grealish was the man who everyone was begging him to call up, and it took him ages to call him up originally.
No, you know what? This is our squad. For me, Jack Grealish shouldn't be there.
For me, Jack Grealish isn't on the plan.
Right, Grealish doesn't go there.
Maddison takes his spot.
There is another name that I'm thinking of, Tammy Abraham.
That's what I was going to say.
And I think in terms of getting, I think 2 or 3 strikers is fine for the squad. So I do think Tammy Abraham goes. I think he's the 3rd choice striker at the minute.
I think we need more options on the right-hand side, because realistically, Saka's the only one who plays predominantly.
Abraham's only scored 2 goals in 13 games in Serie A this season.
I mean, it doesn't sound great.
I'll be honest, instead of Abraham, there's a very good pick playing in the Premier League, and I think we should go, even though his injury record's not exactly amazing, I think we should go for Callum Wilson.
I really like that.
Good shout. It is a good shout.
I think Callum Wilson overtakes Abraham, if I'm honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Abraham's getting a lot of hype, but you've got to consider that factor of people looking at other leagues and going, he's English, he should get in the squad.
I think as
really
well,
got to be careful.
The thing is, sure, he's doing it in another league, but we aren't playing like we do in Italy. We have a system which, because the amount of Premier League players in there, it's going to be that kind of football. We're not, and that's why I think Callum Wilson gets it, and also he's having a better season.
Yeah, I mean,
far better season.
Callum Wilson, he's on 6 goals this season. It's the same as. I've just seen a massive player we need to consider. Actually,
is it who I'm thinking? Yeah, that's who I was considering.
Right, okay, right. Let's decide on the striker then, the 3rd option striker, because we can't go with 2 strikers.
Callum Wilson, I like that strike.
So Kane, Toney, Wilson. Those are our 3 strikers.
I like that a lot.
That's on the plane.
Do you want to reveal our maybe could he go right wing? He could go right wing.
He could go right wing.
Yeah.
He could go left wing. It's an equaliser. It's Harvey Barnes.
Interesting. I'm not sure.
5 goals this season.
I think he's
Foden.
very unfortunate not been getting his call-ups recently. I think he's a very tidy player, and like Maddison, despite Leicester's poor form at the start of the season, has been performing. Scored on the weekend. I think he's a very good player. He offers us something different. You know, he's not a purely creative winger. Like Rashford, he will attack, he will try and go for goals. Similar play style to that of Maddison, and I think, you know, maybe it's just to put the numbers up, but if you're going to pick between him, Grealish and Sancho, I think you pick Barnes.
A couple of players I think we also need to consider. And I've just forgotten his name. I looked at it and just ignored it.
Josh Da Silva?
No, he was there. Right, Jared Bowen. What do you think about that?
That doesn't go for me.
Jared Bowen does not go for me.
Okay, right, I agree with that. I think if it was based off last season, I'd actually want him in
Yes.
This season, however, not. Eric Dyer we haven't mentioned yet, and I don't want him on the plane. I don't like the man.
Don't want him on the plane either.
For personal reasons. But from a
footballing standpoint,
what do you think about Eric
From
Dyer?
a footballing standpoint, I think he will go. In reality, it's our squad though.
And if I have the option,
you know what, if we have an extra space for a centre back, I don't see why we can't take him.
I'd pick him over Maguire.
Okay.
To be honest, I think he goes ahead of Guehi.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We're going to go Dyer.
Let's do a count before we add in Dyer, just because I don't want him to be in there. Okay.
I think we definitely have some spots left.
Right, hang on. Let's see. Right, 5, 8.
If we have spots left, we could put it up to the viewers.
I want to complete a squad.
And then they'll just be like, put in.
Yeah, take out whoever you want.
25, perfect. We've got
25.
One more man left.
I think, do we just go for...
I think you go for Eric Dyer. I don't want to. Just to shore up.
Or do we go for a left back? Because we literally have one left back.
But who?
Is Cole Walker-Peters fit?
No.
All right, then we're screwed. Jed Spence.
Jacob Murphy.
Like, I'm sorry, we're just going to have to put Dyer in.
Tut Mitchell.
Yeah, but that's just,
Tut Mitchell. He's been called up, hasn't he?
He has.
Yeah.
I think we might have to go Tut Mitchell for depth reasons.
You just don't want to go Dyer.
Well, no, but I don't like the idea of having one natural left back going into the tournament.
Dyer can't go into left back, mate.
We call up Ashley Young.
What about Mings as well? Mings has been a bit part, is he not?
Just call up Dyer. You've mentioned Mings now.
I'd actually go Tyreek Mitchell over Dyer.
Okay, let's go Tut Mitchell.
We've got players that do Eric Dyer's role.
We need 2 left backs.
Yeah.
Go Tut Mitchell.
It's not nothing personal, but North London.
It is something personal for you guys.
It's not personal.
I'm being completely honest. I'm happy to put Dyer in over Guehi, but I do think Mitchell is crucial because the idea of going into a tournament with one natural player in a position is a bit suicidal.
I think Dyer goes in ahead of Guehi.
Okay, right.
Okay. I'll admit Guehi's not been as good as he was last season.
I will.
If only Joachim Andersen's English.
Is that the squad?
I think it is. Let me just do one more final each count just to make sure. So we've got. I'll read through the list. So we've got the goalkeepers are Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, Nick Pope. Left back we've got Luke Shaw, Tyreek Mitchell. Centre backs Ben White, Tomori, Eric Dyer, Connor Cody, and Dan Burn. What are we on now?
10.
I like that.
Right back Trippier and Trent.
Like that.
Midfield Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Mason Mount, James Maddison, Jordan Henderson, and James Ward-Prowse. What are we on now?
18.
Then we got a left wing, or across the attack, Phil Foden, Sterling, Rashford. What are we on now?
21.
Kane, Ivan Toney, Callum Wilson, Saka,
And
Barnes.
That's it.
26. Love that. Well done, boys.